Saturday Sports Special. Welcome on the show. My name is Wale Scott. And as usual, we have a series of things to discuss today. We have lots of cricket to discuss first off today. We have, of course, Manchester United against Tottenham. We have Leicester against Arsenal. We've got their heads-to-heads. We've got heads-to-head of Ronaldo against KANE. We've got head-to-head against both teams. And lots of things to talk about today. And, of course, FIFA have led a delegation to the United States to check potential host cities for the World Cup. And many more things have happened. LA Lakers closely won their match. Seun Ajidagba, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, Wale. It's a pleasure to be here.
Los Angeles Lakers narrowly, but King James to the rescue again.
It's starting off as a tough season for a lot of teams.
No big team again. You do anyhow, you see anyhow now. Yeah, I think that's the idea.
They're scraping by. We've seen Boston lose their first two and then get their win on the road. Even the last season's winners, the Bucks, have dropped points already. So it's going to be a tough season.
We'll come to that later on the show. But Seun, let me start with you now. First of all, I want to say that cricket in Nigeria has, this is my own part of it. You know, me, I'm always looking for humor in everything. Before I start abusing anybody, I look for humor first. Cricket is the only sport in Nigeria that has called the bluff of politics and politicians in Nigeria. When they realized that their oracle, the TBS, was being used most of the time by politicians, and they didn't have time to do the cricket what they love, they went to Unilag, raised money or whatever, and turned the cricket over in Unilag to world class, and left their TBS for them. I went to the TBS Oval and Unilag Oval, and wow. I think it's massive what they've done there, really.
I've always said that government subvention can never be adequate.
True.
But again, I want to say good morning to our esteemed viewers of Plus Sport on PlusTvAfrica. It's a pleasure to be here in the studio. What the cricket fraternity have done is that they know that the money coming from the sport ministry, the money coming from International Cricket Council can never be adequate. So friends of cricket must rally around the sport if they hope to achieve any dream of taking the game to the next level. That Unilag cricket over that you mentioned, quickly, credit must go to a certain Professor Adebola Kukoyi, a professor of comparative literature, but he's retired. As far back,
obviously a cricketer.
Yes, he's a cricketer. Unilag was founded in 1962. But when that cricket pitch was constructed, it was in 1966. Now, the interesting thing about that cricket pitch is the fact that when he supervised the construction of that cricket pitch, Professor Adekukoyi was a graduate assistant. Now, when you want to look at the academia, their ranks getting to that professor, you find out that Professor Adekukoyi did something huge, and that's why the cricket alumni did not forget him. Now, as a graduate assistant, the next level you move to is an assistant lecturer. From assistant lecturer, you become a lecturer 2. From a lecturer 2, you become a lecturer 1.
It's a long journey.
From a lecturer 1, you become a senior lecturer. From a senior lecturer, you become an associate prof. From associate prof, you become a professor. So let's use the local balance that a last small boy ensured the supervision of that cricket pitch. Now, last year, June, he clocked 80. The Unilag cricket alumni just felt that this man, who was our former coach, our mentor, our team manager while we were students, what can we do to immortalize him? And so they came together and said, that cricket oval that has been abandoned, we want to revive it to an international standard. And they raised money among themselves. In actual fact, Unilag cricket alumni, he was supervised by Mr. Uyosa Nosawaru Akpata, who is the chairman Edo State Cricket Association and currently the president of Nigerian Cricket Federation. But then he was the vice president of the Nigerian Cricket Federation. In conjunction with some cricketers who passed through University of Lagos, the likes of Kwesi Sego, the likes of Kofi Sego, the likes of Dipo Idowu, Owolabi Odugwa, all of them like that just came together. Karunwi, Bode Karunwi, and all of them. Now they raised money, millions of naira, and they made that place
Mukayo, before I go to what I want to discuss with Seun, which of course is the bilateral cricket series, and there are lots of things that we didn't know about that. And then I'll finish that part of cricket with Seun with a different question. But I think it's a good thing where sports in Nigeria do not wait for the government all the time. The rain falls too much, is the government. If the sun is too hot in Nigeria, it's the government. If we are hungry in Nigeria, it's the government. You know, we're used to always expecting too much from the government, but look at what cricket has done. You know, the TBS was being used all the time by either campaigns or political rallies. And this guy said, listen, you're not letting us do our thing, what we love to do. And they went to Unilag, came together, got money. I'm sure I can imagine how much they must have gone through to actually make people cough out money for cricket in Nigeria, you know. But they did. And you need to see the Unilag over. And I think other sports should take a cue from this and realize that, listen, governments will not do it all for us. And if we're expecting that, it's never going to happen.
Well, it's not just, for me, this story doesn't just indict the government as an institution that can't bring forth what we need for sports, because they can do the bare minimum, they're not going to get the perfection that we need. What this story really tells me is that even we've talked about the various institutions that govern our sports in this country, the NFF, the NBBF, and we've seen that a lot of these positions are filled with non-real passionate sports personalities. In this instance, this story, these were people who loved the sport from the ground up,
actually played it,
and intended to build it into something that could be recognizable as world standard. And that's the reason why this has been successful. Anything else, we should realize that we need to take a cue from this story and put in place the kinds of people who love the sport enough that they commit their lives, their long-term careers, to building it to what it needs to be.
Okay, now Seun, let's look at well, before I go to that, I read an article yesterday about Uyi Akwata, who is the president of the Nigeria Cricket Federation. He talked about the Nigeria against Sierra Leone match, and he says for him, he goes beyond cricket. It's like an integration kind of thing, you know, bringing youths in Africa who play cricket together once in a while to play, not only to play cricket, but also to fraternize, network, get to know each other, get to know other cultures. And that the trip to Rwanda is more than cricket for him to. Our boys, young boys, will learn to go to another country, see a different culture, get exposure. So by the time they get to world-class matches, maybe in Australia, there's no fear really anymore. They've played with other African countries. They're exposed. I think that's the idea. The idea that this man has brought into cricket now is that, listen, don't let these guys just have talent. Another, give them exposure. So it's like football now. I go abroad now. My first team is to play a team like PSG that has Messi, Suruamumi. You know, but when these boys have exposure and go to it's good for them. I think that's the idea. It's not only a federation president now, also being a father.
And that is the same statement that was made by the president of Sierra Leone Cricket Association, Trevor Francis Samura. He said he was very happy that Nigeria played the brotherly role. They were not supposed to come to play Nigeria. They were supposed to go to Uganda. But what actually happened was that Uganda got too busy, and at a short notice, they called Nigeria, and Uyi Akwata and his board made it happen. Now, this is not the first competition the team will be attending. The first assignment that the coach, Deshabandu Asankapra, the Gurusiya, attended was in Uganda.
That's one name I'm never going to call.
Just leave it as Asanka. They went to Uganda for a tri series, which had Uganda, Kenya, and Nigeria. And Nigeria eventually played 6 matches. But at the end of the day, we lost 5 and won 1. But one thing we took out is that one of our players, Seun Ajidagba from Ogun State, emerged as the player of the tournament with his performance, which for me was good. Now, this one, Sierra Leone called Nigeria, and Nigeria facilitated it. They came. What we were trying to do is to improve our ranking in T20, because when they went to that Uganda tournament, the tri series, which was more like a friendly game, we were ranked 39th before, but after that tournament we jumped to 36. But what the federation are looking at is to see how we can continue to play matches and improve our ranking. What International Cricket Council now told Nigeria is that if you want to play Sierra Leone and want it to be a ranking competition, it means that you must not use all your umpires. You must bring umpires from outside Nigeria. And that was what they did. They brought match commissioner from outside Nigeria. They brought from other countries also. But we also had our own umpires here. Now, it started on the 19th and ended on the 26th. It was a 6-match bilateral cricket series. First game, to the shock of the world, Sierra Leone beat Nigeria. Because Sierra Leone are ranked 68 in T20, but in ICC, truth be told, they are unranked. So an unranked team came to upset Nigeria at the Unilag Cricket Over. They beat us by 6 wickets. When they awarded the player of the match of that game, his name was Muniru Paka from Sierra Leone. He said, while conducting his interview, that Nigeria will lose the remaining 5 matches. I think that got Nigeria upset. And Nigeria came back the second game, won by 6 runs. Came back the third game, won by 69 runs. Came back the fourth game, won by 9 wickets. Came back the fifth game, won by 19 runs. And the last game, they won by 36 runs. But Wale, in all the wins, and that's why I talk about developmental, in every game, there's usually a player of the match, which you call man of the match in football. And that player of the match goes home with $100, courtesy of Edo State Cricket Association, which is headed by Uyi also, and a plaque. All the remaining 5 were won by former under-19 players who made that historic cricket World Cup in South Africa.
I remember that, yeah.
The 2 were won by the vice captain and the former captain of under-19, Sylvester Okpe. He won back-to-back. We had Rashid Abolari also win. Then we had Peter Aho winning 2 back-to-back man of the match, a player of the match performance. You now know what caught the fancy of everybody. On Sunday, history was made in the world. The game Nigeria won by 19 runs, Peter Aho, the former under-19 player who scored the winning run against Sierra Leone at under-19 that took Nigeria to that historic World Cup, took 6 wickets for 5 runs in 3.4 overs, 1 maiden with an economy rate of 1.86. Now that feat was the best in Nigerian cricket history from any bowler. And that night, ESPN Crick Info ranked Peter Aho, a former under-19 player, as the best bowler in the world in T20. He had a better record than a player from India. They call him Deepak Shah. He had a better record than another player from India who decided to naturalize and play for Uganda. We call that one Dinesh Chamrani. He had a better record than a player from Sri Lanka who is currently player at the World Cup. We call him Ajanta Mendes. And for us, it was a feel-good factor that a Nigerian player, former under-19, is now ranked the best bowler in the world with that economy rate of 6 wickets for 5 runs, 3.4 overs, 1 maiden was huge. Now that same day, a female umpire made an international debut in T20 cricket. Her name is Temitope Jaba Onikoyi. In actual fact, she is the wife of the former captain of the Yellow Greens, in Adebola Onikoyi. And for us, he was historic. That what we were talking about, developmental, that you can imagine that 3 man of the match performances we had former under-19 players.
Now, since you've already gone there, let's just go there.
Yeah.
We know about so many records that were broken from the female. And the one that actually tickled my fancy was the fact that an 11-year-old girl, she's only 11, she's already playing cricket for Nigeria, wearing the yellow-green jersey. And at 11, she's already making it this well.
This is the girl we're talking about. Her name is Ogbu Precious Elamei. This was the female T20 competition that preceded the bilateral cricket series. We had 4 teams taking part. We had Team Ibejuleki, which Precious played for. We had Team Ekpe.
Oh, Precious actually plays for Team Ibejuleki?
Yes.
Okay.
And the person carrying her, shockingly, is Tunde Ayinde, that I need to bring to this studio. Because the story of Tunde Ayinde is very huge, that needs to get the limelight. Tunde Ayinde used to come to TBS years ago to sell banana. He would drop his banana because he knows they will buy everything. And from there, they started teaching Tunde how to play cricket. The likes of Kunle Adegola, the likes of Leke Oyede, they taught Tunde how to play cricket. Tunde went on to represent Nigeria at under-19. went on to get invitation to the senior national team. He currently captains the Government College Ibadan Old Boys Cricket Club, and is one of the few cricketers that scored century in a league match. As I speak to you, Tunde is a graduate of University of Lagos, where he studied economics from selling banana, and the same Tunde now taught Precious how to play cricket.
At 11.
At 11. Now, this was after the tournament where the chairman board of trustee of the female cricket stakeholders, Mr. Ayodeji David Harper, said, this girl who is in GSS 1, for your GSS 2, we are going to foot the bills of your school fees, and our school fees is close to 400,000. This same day, she got close to 100,000 from cricketers who donated. There is another lady, Eboka Teniola, who played for Lagos Island. They said they are going to sponsor all her university career. She is a student of computer science in University of Ibadan. And so these are things. When Nigeria even went for the T20 qualifiers in Botswana, where we finished third behind Zimbabwe and Uganda, Nigeria had the youngest player in that tournament from Edo State, Lucky Piety. She was 14
Okay, before I go to you, Mukail now, I've got Victor Godfrey via Zoom. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Wale. Thank you for having me on the show today.
You want to make Mukail laugh today. You are wearing this your cap again. Mukail, laugh the laugh you want to laugh.
Why do you know
like Boy George.
Me, man? Yeah.
Like Boy George. Welcome
God.
on the show. What we're talking, before you came on the show, Victor, we're talking about some cricket. There was the bilateral cricket series, and too many records were broken. And Seun has explained to us, but you know, my point with cricket, this is what actually tickles my fancy, is that a large amount of the guys in the team, the senior team, are actually 19, 18, 20, which means they have years ahead of them to play cricket. And then spoke about the 11-year-old girl. She's in 11, JS1, and she's doing so well already. She's gotten a scholarship from JS1 till forever, till when she finishes school. She got 100K that day. And this is good for Nigerian cricket, starting from the beginning. This is what sports. We're tired of people coming and lying and saying I'm 14 when they are 40. Now we know their age. Yes, now we know their age. We know they are 11 when they are really 11. This young girl is 11. We know she's 11. You know, I think we should start from there for other sports too.
Well, she could be, you know.
Well, first of all, it's remarkable that we have such talents. I mean, it's no longer news that we are very talented in Nigeria, one of the most diverse country in the world. Also, to add to my esteemed senior colleague, Mr. Seun, where he gave a fantastic, detailed analysis of Nigerian cricket and the history of some of our top players. But the reality is this: apart from like the percentage of Nigerians that are really interested in cricket, very, very low. Football is still our number one sport. However, the only way you can gain interest in these kind of sports and, of course, make it a major export is by creating these opportunities for young individuals. For instance, like you mentioned, you have 14-year-olds, you have 11-year-olds breaking records, you have members of the under-19 team breaking records, doing us proud. Yeah, we're not at the level of the South Africa or the likes of Kenya, who, in my own opinion, are two of the best teams in Africa anyway. They have proven that for many years now. However, if we just put in just a little of the resources we put into other sports, like the amount of resources we put into football or other sports, just put a little into cricket, I can assure you, because this is us at ground zero. We really don't have any infrastructure for cricket in Nigeria. That's the honest truth. There is no infrastructure for that. However, we have this amazing talent with these little initiatives. Imagine if we now really invest into cricket to develop it. And I can assure you, the next 2-3 years, we'll be at the Cricket World Cup. We'll be having massive international test series. We'll give South Africa and Kenya a massive run for their money if we just develop this sport just a little bit. So
let me buttress Victor a little, Seun. Let me buttress Victor a little now. When we were growing up, you know that, at least when it's my age gap, you know, these two popular sports then was, first of all, football. And all football needs is a few guys, the ball itself, one pair of slippers for post, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
And the other sport is table tennis.
Yes.
You know, you just go to a carpenter's this thing, get the bats beg the carpenter to give you small, and then go to your soccer way in your house and put it. And then
you don't even need to go and beg a carpenter. It was as bad as you can even use a broken asbestos.
Yes, to play.
To play.
But basketball, somehow, when I was growing up, there was no love for basketball. But somehow they've been able to get the lure of the youths in Nigeria now. Everybody's talking about football, basketball, not even table tennis anymore. It's football, basketball now. How does Uyi? Because you see, I'm always the bad guy.
Yes.
I tell you the good things when they are good. If Uyi is doing well, I will say it. But if Uyi is doing bad things, I will say it.
Of course.
And Uyi knows that.
Yes.
But it's not about Uyi Akpata, the savior has come, he loves cricket, he's going to make it well. Let's ask the question now. What do you think Uyi should do? That's the president, NCF. What do you think he should do to bring cricket to the doorsteps of our youths? I'll tell you what I mean. Some of us are only lucky that we went to cricket playing schools. I went to FGC Warri, Government College, Ugeli, King's College, another schools like that. What a youth who did not go to a cricket playing school knows nothing about cricket. How it's counted, how it's scored, knows nothing. What is the cricket? Okay, you guys are doing well now. And people like us and other media houses are bringing it to the cricket is there, it exists, and they're doing very well. What else do you think they should do to take cricket to the doorstep of the average youth?
I tell you what, this precious Olamide Ogbu that I mentioned, the 11-year-old girl, the school she's attending, they are not a cricket school. And these are one of the many things that they said they're going to do in ensuring that they take it. They have what they call RDOs, Regional Development Officers, who are going to be taking it to various states and various schools. In actual fact, the facilities, they want to improve upon it. That across the 36 states of the Federation, they want to have tough wickets, not only in Unilag, not only. So what they want to do is to ensure that they have playing surfaces that are good enough for cricket. So this is the plan of Mr. Uyi Akpata. Say we want to take it to secondary schools, we want to take it to primary schools, and we employ a lot of people who will be teaching them the basics.
How to do it. Okay, the last time Seun was on the phone with us via phone call on this show, he turned the program into a cricket program. His plan is again, we're not going to work today. No.
Amen.
Now, Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said yesterday that his side need a reaction when they face Tottenham today. Now, Solskjaer came under intense criticism after United's shocking 5-0 home defeat by Liverpool last week Sunday. Now, Solskjaer said he had a good week at the training ground with the players as they seek to put right the errors which cost them so dearly against Liverpool, and he suggested that reports of dressing room divisions were wide of the mark. Now, Solskjaer confirmed he had met with former manager Alex Ferguson during the week after the 19-time Premier League champions attended a commercial event in the club's training ground. He said he will fight back just like Ferguson did. United are 7th on the table, 8 points adrift of Chelsea, and trailing second place Liverpool by 7 points. They are 1 place and 1 point behind Spurs after 9 games. Before we discuss this crunch game extensively, let's look at the fact that Tottenham boss Nuno Espirito Santo says he will not publicly discuss the futures of midfielders Harry Winks and Dele Alli. Now, Winks has only played 60 minutes in the Premier League this season, with Alli last featuring against Arsenal in September. Now, Nuno's men take on Manchester United today as both teams look to turn around their poor run of form in the league. The Portuguese said his side will need to improve on their final third productivity and for the players to get better. Nuno Espirito Santo, both coaches have their jobs on the line starting from today, this afternoon. Now, let's look at the heads-to-heads of both teams first off. Manchester United against Tottenham. They are head-to-head. Let's look at that. Toby should arrange that for us. And then we'll try and see what chances what team has. We'll look at Man U against Tottenham first. We'll look at Ronaldo against Harry Kane. They are heads-to-head. And let's see what might... Okay, this is the head-to-head of both teams at this point. As it is, Man U should have a chance of making something work out of this. Which team would we give it to today?
I'm going to give it to Man United. I think they're going to go for a reaction. I think the very fact that Ronaldo is a part of that dressing room, even if he doesn't play, we've heard stories of him pulling the team together in the dressing room and trying to get them on the same page, not to betray or turn their backs on the manager. Because a lot of the players in the dressing room are a lot of individual-minded players. But Ronaldo has played in difficult moments and has known one or two managers who have had the pressure on their heads.
Okay, now let's go to Victor. The head-to-head here gives it a slight chance for Manchester United, but Man United are playing away at White Hart Lane, so that might be a problem. But would you give it to Man U like Mukail says?
I wouldn't give it to Manchester United, actually. I disagree with Mukai again. Shocker. I think Tottenham is going to win the game today. Now, listen, when you say you're going for reaction, I'm sorry, you had the international break to react against Liverpool. If your reaction is 5-0 to Liverpool, then I'm sorry, you're going to react to give another negative reaction. Manchester United issue is something that is in, they say it's not the United way, it's not in their DNA. I believe it's in the DNA this season, or even since last year. The players are lazy. The formation, I mean, a coach can only set up the team to his best ability. You have to go and play. You talk about the top players in United: Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo, Sancho, Greenwood, Rashford, etc. They don't work as hard as Mane or Salah or Firmino of Liverpool. Those guys work very, very hard. So I don't see them beating Tottenham. I'll go with a draw for the worst case scenario, because both teams are having very, very poor, in my opinion. Harry Kane doesn't want to play for Tottenham anymore. Man U are not even sure what they want to do. I'm actually surprised that Ole is still the coach of United. I felt he should have been sacked. That's my honest opinion. But to be honest with you, I don't even fancy. This is not even a match I would say, oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's just like you said, they call it the El Sacico on social media. Who's going to get sacked?
Okay, let me come to you, Joe. He said it all. They call it the El Sacico, not the El Clasico. Somebody might be sacked at the end of one of these games. You know, so it could be the El Sacico. However, we saw the head-to-head. Santo has confirmed that he has a problem at the lower third of the game. His guys are not scoring. Harry Kane is not scoring as people are saying he wants to leave. That's why Ronaldo still gets his chance, still scores. You know, so head-to-head in this game, on present form, Ronaldo is in a better place.
Definitely.
Head-to-head, that is.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is United must react, and the reaction is from that thumping that they usually get in the month of October. Last year, October also, they got bashed by this same Tottenham at Old Trafford, 6-1, after raising into an early lead. But it turned against his head. Martial got a red card. So it seems as if when United wants to go down and go down,
they go down well.
They get bashed in the month of the same. Why always me, Mario Balotelli? It was in the month of October that they beat United 6-1 at Old Trafford. Now, looking at what happened last season at the London Stadium, United went there and defeated them by 3-1. It was a classic performance from United, one of the best performances that United had last season. But for me, I've always said it, that there was no rationale giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a 3-year contract after last season, and what prompted that is only the Glazer family and Ed Coward, the former chief executive, because he's not Ed Woodward, he's a coward that ensured that they gave him a 3-year contract, and Ole has shown over the years that he cannot win titles. The Premier League is an unforgiving league. I told some people the last time, club that we are celebrating today, yes, took him about 4.5 years to win a title, despite losing several finals, but that same template that happened last time cannot happen anymore. I tell you what, if Thomas Tuchel, despite what he did for Chelsea last season, getting them into the top 4 and winning the Champions League, if he does not do well by winning any title, don't be surprised that Babalowo can just bring out the sack letter and hand it over to him. So United has a way of, and I've always said it, the league is a marathon. But those cup games, win them and win them well. For me, Ole is a no way. The only way is for Ole to get away.
Wow. Now, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta described the pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Nuno Espirito Santo as nothing new, saying football management is always about the results. Both Solskjaer and Nuno have come under heavy scrutiny in recent weeks at Man United and Tottenham. And Arteta says, while it isn't nice to see, every manager knows the reality of the job. Arteta was also full of praise for his captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, saying the Gabonese forward leads in every sense after starting the season with 7 goals in 9 games in all competitions. The Gunners travelled to the King Power Stadium on Saturday to face Leicester as they look to extend their recent form of runs and has seen Arteta's side lose just once in their last 10 games. Now, Victor, I'm not going to agree with this head-to-head. Arsenal against Leicester. This is a different Arsenal. This is an Arsenal that is gaining momentum every day. The team, love it or leave it. I don't like Arsenal. I've always been a presenter. I believe they have a big gun, no bullets. I believe they're like a child that is dull but has a good handwriting and all that. But actually, love it or leave it, the team is getting better every day.
Well, like we said, I also agree with you. I don't really like head-to-heads because it's not really a pure or true reflection of where two teams may be. I mean, you might have beaten me last year, but this year I'm a lot better. But the reality is this: as good as Arsenal has been in the last month, I'll give them credit. They have actually improved drastically. It still doesn't stop the fact that Brendan Rodgers is a better manager. Look, listen, Brendan Rodgers is very, very underrated. Now, I'm not against Arsenal. I have nothing against the Arsenal faithful, unlike you who hate Arsenal fans for some reason. But I would also agree with any sentiment that says that Arsenal is not going to win the game today because Leicester City are special. I mean, watch that team play. Watch their setup. Forget, they don't have any big superstar names. Or just watch how Brendan sets up that team. You know he's a man on a mission and he has a plan. And Arsenal may not just have the answers today. Forget Smith Rowe, Saka, Aubameyang, or whoever they may put up on the pitch today. But I'm going to give it to Leicester for today's game.
Being talked in circles about taking over. Which is why, at the same time, while he's being considered for the Manchester United job and even possibly Newcastle, he doesn't want to take it. And even a lot of his advisors are advising him to just wait until the Man City job.
Do you honestly think that Arsenal will go to Leicester to lose today? I think the team is getting better. I think if I were to place my bets for the first time in many years of watching football, I'll actually place it on Arsenal today.
So the question is, what has Arsenal done that we are all pouring all of these eulogies on the team? They met a Tottenham side that has done badly in all derbies. When it comes to London derbies, they've lost badly. Yes, you might say, yes, they are keeping some clean sheet and Ramsdale is here, but hey, I don't think they've really met a stiff opposition that will push them to the limit. And this Leicester team offers one. You see Pasindaka, you see Jamie Vardy, you see Kelechi Iheanacho, even James Maddison, and of course, Yuli Tillemans.
Okay, we've got Jamie Vardy up there, head-to-head, and we've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang there, head-to-head. Kyle, what would you say?
I would say that the very fact that we've seen last season how poorly Aubameyang played, and that this season he's just starting to find his feet again. Whereas Vardy has never stopped playing well. Since the season they won the Premier League, we've seen that Vardy has become a top elite striker. If he had done this at an earlier stage in his career, we would be talking about the possibility of Real Madrid or Barcelona picking him up. He's still a phenomenal, explosive striker. And whereas Kelechi Iheanacho likes to drop deep, he's the kind of striker who likes to play on the shoulder of the last man. Arsenal will have to worry severely with the likes of Ben White and Gabriel having to cope with a player like Vardy.
Vardy is your ultimate talented English footballer. No panache, no dribbles, nothing. He goes straight for the goal. He's strong. He won't fall anyhow. You can't drop an English striker anyhow. And if you do, he will start up, unless he's very serious, he will start up immediately. He is the ultimate, he's like Harry Kane, ultimate Rooney, ultimate English striker. They
Brawlers.
They don't dribble, they don't have panache, they don't play for the TV. They want to score. So to hold Vardy, I know a player like Vardy who comes to work like, I've come to work, I've not come to play. You can't watch him for 90 minutes. You can't.
But Aubameyang, on the other hand, he plays as though he's a lesser version of Thierry Henry. He has all the pace, but doesn't have the flair.
That finish.
That finish.
That Thierry Henry finish.
And Thierry Henry could pull magic out of nothing. I don't believe that from Eric Aubameyang.
I also want to see the Tomiyasu guy that they've been waxing.
He's playing very well.
Yeah. So let him come up against guys who are very, very
strong and fit.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu has impressed me so far. Let's quickly, we have little time on the show. Let's quickly look at the matches for today. English Premier League matches for today. The rest of them, we've spoken about Man City against Tottenham, spoken about Liverpool and Arsenal against
Leicester at home against Arsenal.
Let's look at other matches to be played today. We've got Leicester, Arsenal, we've got Liverpool, Brighton. Who do we see in that?
I think for me, there should be no analysis, so there won't be any paralysis. Leicester to beat Arsenal, Liverpool to beat Brighton, Chelsea to beat Newcastle, Man City to beat Crystal Palace, Watford and Southampton to end in a draw, and Man United to get the better of Tottenham.
Okay, do you agree with that? Quickly, Victor.
110% no.
Wow.
Tottenham, that's for sure. I think Watford will beat Southampton, and I also believe that. Okay, well, that's just about the only thing I disagree with. So
I think Leicester will beat Arsenal, and I think we'll be shocked about the Man City game going against Crystal Palace. It might come out as a draw. The way Crystal Palace is playing right now, the way their new manager Vieira has set them up, they are set up for success. They're playing way better football.
Crystal Palace remind you of the Leblanc. Now, the Leblanc of those days, you know, the French national team. And that guy has done something. There's this flow that the French national team used to have those days. Zidane, Ibrahim Ba, Yuri Yokahev. There's this flow that Crystal Palace, Vieira has actually injected it. Crystal Palace come up front with like a flow. And it's almost scary. And against the Man City, who if free-flowing play, and they're playing against a free-flowing side too, there might be collision.
You know, Man City have dominated the Carabao Cup for several years, 4 years to be precise.
Victor, you're disagreeing with me here.
Yes.
What are you saying, Victor?
How can you say Crystal Palace will end in draw with Man City? This is Man City.
It's not impossible now.
It's not impossible. Man City just got dumped out of the Carabao Cup.
They are not going to beat Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace is not going to beat City. That's not going to happen. Not in this match day. Maybe in a parallel universe, but in this world we live in, Man City and Etihad.
You realize Pep Guardiola can't stand the period when he pulls out most of his hair, with the little hair he has left from his head. The time he pulls the rest of those out is when he's playing up against a team that has as much free-flowing football as Man City. Because it's like a basketball game going back and forth, going back and forth. He prefers his team to be on top, their boots on the neck of the opposition, from the very first minute to the very last
Okay, guys, we
second.
can't stay here for too long. This is a place that people are not looking to. Sports enthusiasts across the world are not looking towards this way. Tennis. Everybody has this name, Zverev, Tsitsipas, you know, they are growing. And then they go to a competition and another new name comes again. And so I'm happy at the fact that in tennis today, in the world today, it's not the usual suspects. One tournament yesterday, new name. New Open again, a new name. St. Petersburg is bringing out new names like every hour, not even every day. Now, in just 6 hours, all 3 top seeds were knocked out of the St. Petersburg Open ATP 250 event yesterday. Now, Andrei Rublev, the home favorites, ranked 6th in the world, lost in straight sets in the quarterfinals, as did second seed Denis Shapovalov. Qualifier Boris van der Zandschulp dispatched the Russians 6-3, 6-4, while Jean-Leonard Struff of Belgium beat Shapovalov 6-4, 6-3. Now, the third seed, Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut, fought back to win the second set, but ended up being 6-4, 3-6, 6-3, lost to Croatia's Marin Cilic in the semi-finals on Saturday, early today. Now the Zandschulp will play Cilic, while Struff will face Taylor Fritz of the United States, the highest seed left, after beating John Willman. Victor Godfrey, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning via Zoom. Thank you very much. Okay, Seun Ajidagba, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Mokael, I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, don't forget that LeBron James helped LA Lakers to a 113 to 101 victory over Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll leave you with that at the end of the show. Plus Sports special on PlusTvAfrica, join us same time next week. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your hearts, do some sports.